Hello everyone. We're going to try to do a tutorial for folding a paper star. I'm curious to see how this goes because my filming setup is a little bit eccentric. So you're going to need to start with these 4 strips of paper that are like folded like this. Maybe you got them like pre-existing like this. Maybe you bought them like this. Maybe you made them like this. That is not my purview. My purview is once you want to make the star. So the first step, it is going to be helpful if you like cut the ends for the weaving of the paper. Initially I didn't do that. I was like, yeah, whatever. I can just do it with square ends, but it really makes it easier. And you can have a full point as well. Like I could do another cut, but sometimes then it's like this is a bit more robust. So I think this is a bit better, but you can do whatever you want. Okay, so I'll try to not make this too long, but this first step is really important, like really crucially important. And you think, oh yeah, whatever, I just, do it however, and it's so easy and it just comes together. No, I did that and it was wrong. So this is really like a step-by-step thing. You take one of these and they're together, and then you open up another one and you put it fully through, okay? And then what you're gonna do is whatever order of paper you want, then you would repeat that process. So this is open and this fully goes through, okay? And then you repeat it again here. And then the final one can be a little bit tricky to finagle. You wanna make sure it doesn't come out of the other one. There, okay. So that's really important. If you don't do that, you'll be confused. It took me a while to realize that's what was happening. Okay, so now I think this is like locking it in place. And also like getting the strips in the right place. Oh no, oh God. And don't worry too much about how neat and tidy things are, because it'll kind of just work out in the end, but do be a little bit careful. Okay, so you folded one down and one up, and now you are gonna take this one across and put it under the left one. Hopefully you can see what's happening here, and this isn't completely obscured. Okay, and then that, and then this one is gonna go across through here, and this is gonna lock things in place, I guess. And also, yeah. And so now you have 2 strips on all sides. So now we're just gonna start making the points of the star. So yeah, you're gonna take this and you fold it under. And it's good to try to get this as close as possible to here. It'll look a bit nicer. It won't stick out as much. And then, so you do under and then you do over. And it's sometimes nice to have doesn't have to be perfect here. This fold perfectly to the seam, because then we're gonna fold it over. And so we're creating this space here. And eventually when we have the 3D pointy parts of the star, that is going to get poked through this gap. And that will make more sense later maybe. And then, so we have this, and this part here needs to go under this and through. And so I find it easiest to kind of undo this fold and then start feeding it through, and then you can slip this part back in there. I don't know if this makes any sense. And then you pull through. This to me is the most tedious part of the star making. So you just have to, you know, repeat this 8 times. And then like, now that this has gone through, we have like this piece here, and you want to make sure that when you're pushing it under, it's going under this piece and not just under that piece, because that won't do anything. And usually I can, I'm like getting myself. It is confusing. This like process is confusing, and I do confuse myself. So like, but yeah, usually that works. Sometimes, occasionally it doesn't. You just kind of adapt. So yeah, this part, like, I'm not really explaining that much. Like, to me, it's just like you're repeating the same step over and over. And then you do the final one on this side. God, that's a terrible fold, I think. And like, yeah, just like, what is up with this? Why is that sticking out so much? Okay, well, there's maybe some oopsies in here. But like, here's the thing, even if you, this is like, maybe good to show this, because even if you like botch it a little bit, like if your folds aren't perfect, that's do right, yeah. Like the end result will still look really impressive, especially if you're using sparkly paper. Okay, so now we have 4 points. We flip it over. Because of how we folded it at the start, it looks like this. And then we're just repeating the process. Go under, go over, and then this goes over, and then this goes through, and then just repeating over and over. And I'm a little bit paranoid. I'm doing this out in the lab. I'm a little bit paranoid that like people are gonna return from observing and interrupt me, walk in on me doing this really high quality tutorial. I really hope this is, I hope I haven't just like done this the whole time. That would be annoying. So yeah, oops. So yeah, like it is fiddly. I think also like paper quality definitely makes a difference. Like it's nice. So like the sparkly stuff can be hard. Like if you have only sparkly paper, as I have tried, I think, then it will be a bit hard to like push things through sometimes, like especially in the last step, which we'll get to. Have I done that right? Is this, are we good? I think we're good. Okay. We can talk about paper more later. Anyway, now for the pointy bits. So you can really start anywhere, it doesn't matter. I will start with this piece. So the next one over, you will pull back, and this is gonna go in here. And I was like thinking, how do I explain this? Really, this is just pulling around. So like, the key thing is like, I'm not flipping this. Like I'm not doing anything. Like my thumb is staying on top and I'm just pulling it around and then it goes in. And because of how we folded these, this can now go through and then it gets pulled through, and you just have to make sure that doesn't catch here. Pull it through gently. And then it's helpful to like have your finger here a bit to kind of like help this stay tight, like position it a little bit. And then that just goes through and we'll cut that off later. And then you just repeat for all the other points. And this is maybe my favorite part. This is very satisfying, I think. And it goes pretty fast as well. So yeah, paper. In general, this paper is nice because it's quite sturdy. We also have some like white paper that was part of this kit that's not as sturdy, and that can tear a bit more, so that's definitely a consideration. I think definitely starting out, oh yeah, we flip it over and then we just do the same thing. I didn't even realize, like, don't even need to explain. And like you can see here, like this one, I didn't fold very tight, and so it's sticking out a bit and doesn't look quite as good. But like in the end, it won't really matter because it'll all look really good. Yeah, generally it's nice to have like 2 different colors of paper, and like only 2, because then it's really easy to track like your folds and the position of where things are supposed to be. Like once you get things down, then it's okay to just do whatever you want. And you know, it's fun to just like experiment and see what looks good. But I kind of botched that one, Jesus. So like, yeah, here, I don't really know what happened. This one just like decided it didn't really want it. So yeah, like, I don't really know what the deal is with that. That's fine. But like, it still looks great, even though I've like made a few oopsies, just like small oopsies. So now we're going to slice these off. And if you think, oh, I don't want to use scissors, that's lame, you can get over yourself. I also had to get over myself at several points in this learning process, and that's fine. That's growth. And then, so like I find it easier with these scissors to just cut on one side, like that's the cleanest cuts. And then almost there. Yeah, I really hope that, oh shit. I really hope that like the angle of this filming is okay. Guess we'll see. Anyway, there you go. There's a star. Looks pretty snazzy. This video is like 13 minutes. That's pretty good. You could probably bosh this out in like 10 minutes or even faster. But yeah, if you see a video that's like 3 minutes long, I wouldn't believe that shit. Anyway, yeah, thanks.